The air feels heavy the second those words are spoken. Nothing moves, but everything changes. Tommy stands frozen, not because he is scared, but because he never expected to hear those words from that voice. In his world, loyalty is simple: you ride together or you die together. There is no space for hesitation. But now, for the first time in a long time, someone he trusts is standing between him and the kill. That moment hits harder than any bullet ever could. Tommy has always lived by one rule: handle problems before they grow. He believes mercy creates weakness and weakness gets people buried. That belief has kept him alive through chaos, betrayal, and bloodshed. But now, standing in front of him is someone who refuses to step aside. Someone who believes this killing will destroy everything they have left. The tension is not loud. It's quiet. It sits heavy in the air. Every breath feels like it might be the last one before everything explodes. This is not just about one life being spared or taken. This is about control. It's about who truly runs the streets and who has the power to stop violence before it spirals out of control. For the first time, Tommy isn't the only one making decisions. Someone is challenging his authority, not with a gun, but with emotion. That kind of challenge is far more dangerous. The look on Tommy's face says everything. He's torn between instinct and loyalty, between the man he has always been and the man he might become. The silence stretches long enough for doubt to creep in, and that hesitation changes the game. Because in the world he comes from, hesitation gets people killed, and once that line is crossed, there's no turning back. This moment doesn't come out of nowhere. It's been building for a long time, through small decisions and quiet betrayals that slowly cracked the foundation of trust. Every alliance in Tommy's world is built on survival, not love. That's why this confrontation feels so dangerous. It's not just personal, it's emotional. And emotions are the most unpredictable weapons of all. The person standing in Tommy's way isn't just protecting a brother, they're protecting a future that hasn't been destroyed yet. They see something different in the chaos. They believe there is still a chance to walk away before everything turns to ash. But Tommy doesn't see hope, he sees risk, he sees loose ends. And loose ends always come back to destroy you. This moment forces both men to face uncomfortable truths. Loyalty is no longer clean, trust has cracks, and the idea of family has become complicated. The brother being protected represents more than blood. He represents a chance at something better. But for Tommy, better has never meant safe, it has always meant power. The tension rises because neither man is fully wrong. One is trying to protect the future. The other is trying to survive the present. That conflict makes this moment so dangerous. One wrong word, one wrong move, and everything falls apart. This is the kind of moment that creates enemies for life or forges unbreakable bonds. There is no middle ground left. As the seconds pass, it becomes clear that this decision will echo far beyond this room. Alliances will shift, lines will be crossed, and no matter what choice is made, blood will be on someone's hands. Behind this confrontation is a much larger war brewing in the shadows. Forces are moving quietly, watching closely, waiting to see who gains the upper hand. Every player in the city knows that when Tommy hesitates, it means something big is coming. This moment is not just personal, it's political. Power in this world is built on fear, and fear depends on reputation. If Tommy backs down, his enemies will see weakness. If he pushes forward, he risks losing the very people who keep him grounded. The balance he's been holding onto starts to crumble, and the consequences reach far beyond this single room. Every crew, every rival, every silent observer will feel the ripple of this decision. What makes this moment even more dangerous is the truth behind it. The person standing in Tommy's way knows something he doesn't. There are secrets buried beneath this confrontation. Secrets that could shift the entire power structure. And once those secrets come out, nothing will ever go back to the way it was. This is where fear becomes louder than gunfire. The tension doesn't explode, it tightens. Each second stretches longer than the last. Every breath feels like a countdown. The silence is heavy because everyone knows what comes next will change everything, and when the choice is finally made, there will be no undoing it. This is the kind of moment that defines legends in the streets. Not the shootouts, not the money, but the choices made when no one is watching and everything is on the line. As the moment reaches its breaking point, one truth becomes clear: nothing will ever be the same after this. Whether the trigger is pulled or lowered, the damage is already done. Trust has been tested, lines have been crossed, and the future of everyone involved now hangs by a thread. This confrontation marks the beginning of the end for old alliances. Some relationships will never recover. Others will evolve into something darker and more dangerous. The decision made here will echo through every move that follows, shaping the final battles ahead. Tommy's world has always been built on strength, fear, and loyalty. But now, emotion has entered the equation, and emotion is unpredictable. It can turn brothers into enemies and enemies into unexpected allies. That's what makes this moment so powerful. It's not about violence, it's about choice. Tension finally breaks. One thing becomes clear. This is no longer just a fight for control. It's a fight for identity. Who is Tommy without the rules he's lived by? Who does he become when loyalty stands in the way of survival? This moment sets the stage for everything that comes next. The war is no longer hidden. The lines are drawn. And when the dust finally settles, nothing in this world will ever look the same again. The tension between them does not explode all at once. It builds slowly, quietly, like pressure trapped inside a sealed room. Every word spoken feels heavy, layered with meaning that goes far beyond the moment itself. This isn't just a disagreement, it's a collision of beliefs that have been forming for years. On one side stands loyalty built on blood, survival, and shared history. On the other stands a belief that some lines should never be crossed, no matter the cost. The silence between them becomes louder than any gunshot, because both men understand what this moment truly represents. Tommy has never been the type to hesitate. His entire life has been shaped by instinct and action. When a threat appears, he removes it. When someone becomes a liability, he handles it. That mindset has kept him alive when others didn't make it. But now, the rules he's lived by are being challenged from within his own circle. The person standing in his way isn't an enemy, it's someone who knows him, someone who understands how far he's already fallen. That makes the resistance cut deeper than any betrayal from the outside ever could. The tension rises not because of anger, but because of history, every shared memory, every past sacrifice hangs in the air between them. This is not about choosing sides anymore. It's about choosing what kind of man Tommy is willing to be. The brother being protected represents more than a life. It represents the last piece of innocence left in a world built on blood. Letting that life end would mean admitting that there is no line left to cross, no limit he won't break down at the same time. Hesitation carries its own danger. In this world, mercy is often mistaken for weakness. Enemies watch closely, waiting for a sign of doubt. A single moment of restraint can be seen as an invitation to strike. The pressure builds as Tommy realizes that whatever choice he makes will ripple through every corner of his empire. Loyalty will be tested, fear will spread, power will shift. The person standing against him understands this too. That's what makes the moment so heavy. They're not trying to challenge his authority, they're trying to save him from himself. They see the path he's walking down, and they know where it leads. The question isn't whether someone will get hurt. The question is how many lives will be destroyed before this ends. This confrontation becomes more than a clash of wills. It becomes a mirror, forcing Tommy to look at what he's become and what he's willing to lose. The silence stretches, thick and suffocating, as both sides wait for the decision that will change everything, no matter what happens next. There will be no going back to the way things were. The moment has already rewritten the future. The room feels smaller as the weight of the situation presses down on everyone inside it. What was once a controlled standoff has now turned into something far more dangerous. A silent battle of wills. Every person present understands that this moment is not just about survival, but about power shifting hands. The tension is no longer loud or explosive. It's quiet, calculated, and terrifying in its stillness. This is the kind of silence that comes before lives are permanently changed. Tommy's eyes tell a story he refuses to speak out loud. He has built his world on strength, on the belief that fear keeps order and chaos only responds to force. But now, for the first time, he is being challenged not by an enemy, but by someone who believes there is another way forward. That belief shakes him more than any threat ever could. It forces him to confront the truth that maybe his way of doing things has created more enemies than protection. The person standing against him is no longer just defending a brother. They are standing up to an entire system of violence that has consumed everyone around it. Their voice carries weight not because of power, but because of conviction. They are willing to risk everything: reputation, safety, loyalty to stop another irreversible mistake. That kind of courage doesn't come from strength alone. It comes from desperation mixed with hope. Around them, the air feels thick with consequences. Every second that passes makes the situation harder to control. Allies begin to question where they stand. Enemies quietly observe, waiting to see who will crack first. This moment exposes cracks in the foundation of Tommy's empire that were never meant to be seen. The control he once held so tightly now feels fragile, like glass ready to shatter at the slightest push. What makes this moment so dangerous is not the threat of violence, but the emotional truth buried beneath it. The person standing in Tommy's way understands that once a certain line is crossed, there is no coming back. They are trying to stop something irreversible, not just a death, but the final loss of humanity in someone they still care about. That realization hangs heavy in the air, making every breath feel like a decision. As the standoff continues, the balance of power quietly shifts. The person who was once seen as expendable now holds the emotional upper hand they've forced. Tommy to pause, to think, to feel, and that hesitation may be the most powerful weapon of all. In a world where fear rules, hesitation becomes a crack in the armor, a sign that control is slipping. This moment doesn't end with shouting or gunfire. It ends with something far more dangerous, uncertainty, the kind that lingers long after. The room empties, the kind that changes how every future move is made. From this point on, nothing will be simple and nothing will be clean. The choice made here will echo through every alliance, every betrayal, and every life touched by this war. The aftermath of that moment doesn't explode all at once. Instead, it settles in slowly, like smoke filling a closed room. Every person involved walks away carrying something heavy: doubt, fear, guilt, or regret. The silence that follows is louder than the confrontation itself. Nothing has been resolved, yet everything has changed. What once felt stable now feels fragile, like a structure held together by cracks no one wants to acknowledge. Tommy moves forward, but not with the same confidence he once had. The certainty that once defined him is now fractured. Every decision he makes after that moment carries weight because he knows eyes are watching him differently. Loyalty feels thinner, respect feels conditional. Even those who still stand beside him are no longer sure where he truly stands. Power, once effortless, now demands constant proof. The people around him feel the shift immediately. Conversations become cautious, trust becomes rare. No one knows which version of Tommy they'll face: the ruthless enforcer or the man who hesitated. When it mattered most, that hesitation changes how others move. Some grow bolder, sensing weakness. Others grow afraid, worried that instability will bring chaos down on everyone. What makes this moment so dangerous is that it plants doubt in places that once felt unshakable. The rules that once governed everything now feel flexible, even breakable. And when rules lose their meaning, people start writing their own. That's when betrayal becomes easy and loyalty turns into a gamble. The person who stood in his way doesn't walk away unscathed. Either by stepping into that moment, they've drawn a line that can't be erased. They've shown courage, but also exposed themselves. From this point forward, they are no longer just a voice of reason, they are a target. Every move they make will be watched, every word weighed for weakness. The choice to stand up came with a cost, and that cost will be collected sooner or later. As time passes, the weight of that confrontation begins to shape every decision. Conversations carry hidden meaning. Glances last a second too long. Even silence feels loaded with intent. The world around them hasn't changed on the surface, but underneath, everything is shifting. Old alliances begin to strain, and new ones form quietly in the shadows. This is how power truly changes hands, not through loud declarations or violent takeovers, but through moments where doubt creeps in and trust fractures. The damage isn't immediate, but it's permanent. What was once clear becomes uncertain. What was once controlled becomes unpredictable. By the time the dust settles, the consequences of that single moment will stretch far beyond the people involved. It will shape future decisions, fuel future conflicts, and haunt every choice made afterward. The path ahead is no longer straight. It twists, bends, and darkens with every step forward. And the most dangerous part of all is this: no one knows who will still be standing when the next move is made.